Alex Wiggs fans.
Glad to see the folks having a good time.
Yeah. So now we got Drew Breckling coming out, Michael Jokondo, a couple other 125ers. I don't know much about Drew. I don't know if Drew's got a sheet here.
Coming from Lady Smith, Wisconsin, looks like, carrying in a record of 3-0. Outside of that, I'm not too familiar with him myself.
So. Here it says 0-0. So Drew Breckling's a wrestler, trains with Otis Hamilton. Not a bad guy to go with.
No, that's a tough amateur there.
That's an amateur who's only getting better too. You know, he came in and knocked dudes out right away with very minimal skill, but he's just tough. Because he's not a bad wrestler.
No, and I mean, he's down to 155 now. Gave Ben Lindahl a run for his money at 170.
He's doing the 45 tournament.
That's going to be a whole lot of 145.
Yeah. Nice. Jokondo trains at the academy, not with the pro team, but
he's in there with us at the pro team. So
is he now?
He comes in. I'll tell you what, he's tough. I'll give him that for sure. Obviously, he's one of the smaller guys in the room, and going with all the pros, the lightweights are super tough, and he stands in there and bangs with every one of them. So
I'd like to see him let his hands and kicks go a little bit more than he did in his first fight. Seemed a little tentative. Got the win, but you know, it went the distance. I remember when he wrote to me asking for his first fight. I'm like, all right, you know, where do you I'm like, you're gonna need to start training, or you know, do something first. I'm not gonna put you in a cage if you're not training. He's like, oh, I train at the academy. I'm like, what? Like, how do I have no idea who you are?
Oh, I just trained there. Looks like we're gonna have a good fight on our hands, though, just by looking at Drew coming in very good shape.
Well, it's gonna. If Drew's a wrestler, then we're gonna. I don't think Jokondo has any wrestling.
Yeah, it's not his strong point, but again, he's working in there. And he's a hard-working kid. You'll see him in there in the night classes too, trying to improve and train and work on his skills, along with going in with the pro team and rolling with some of the tough guys. So we'll see what he has here, if he can defend takedown, and like you said, let his hands go a little bit more, set up some of the strikes, and should be an interesting style contrast.
A lot of wrestlers too, depending on how evolved they are in their game, but a lot of wrestlers use their wrestling to dictate where the fight goes and set the pace that way. And you know, Dan, being a wrestler yourself, you're oftentimes using your length, using your solid combinations. You got a strong 1-2 straight down the pipe. Not many people can defend. So you know, you're using your wrestling more as a defense mechanism than offensively until you need to, anyways.
Yep, yeah, and then we'll see. I'm guessing training with Otis Hamilton, he'll be looking to throw some strikes right away too. I don't think he'll shoot right in for a takedown. So like you said, he'll use it to kind of dictate where he wants it. We'll see how he does on the feet. If he feels like he's not controlling the fight there, he'll look to take it down.
Holding an undefeated record of 3 wins and 0 losses, Drew Breckling. And his opponent in the blue corner, sitting 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 128.8 pounds. He's representing the academy and fighting out of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Holding a record of 1 win and 0 losses, Michael Jokondo.
I knew Drew Breckling's name sounded familiar. He wrestled 2006 when I was over in Eau Claire. He wrestled a small town around there. I think he wrestled at like 112 when he was in high school. It could make sense. I mean, 125er. Looking for a takedown.
And there's his takedown. Good timing right underneath the 1-2.
See what Jokondo has from here. How is he off his back, Dan?
He's got some skills there, you know, and we'll see what he works with the setups, kind of going over under tie here. We'll see if he looks to set one up off his back and go for submission, or work to get a sweep or get up off his back here.
Staying pretty tight and close guard for the time being, starting to crawl up here.
Usually only takes, I'm surprised it's been this long before we finally heard an elbow call from a member of the crowd in an amateur fight. Breckling really hasn't thrown a strike down there yet, has he?
Well, and that's kind of the thing in amateur fights is you need to pass guard because it's sort of tough to get a good ground and pound going because you can't use elbows. So you got to get to a spot where you can get a little space and let the hands go. You got to posture up and get some range to throw some effective strikes. So you can't really get a ton off on punches with a short range, especially if you're only 125 pounds. Not going to be doing a ton of damage.
Jokondo doing a very good job of not letting Drew posture up, lay anything down. So also controlling wrists there makes it tough, as Dan mentioned, without elbows because you can't slip over the top. So you're very limited in what you're able to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a stand-up here.
Just get one leg out.
Yeah, he's passed to a half guard here.
You know, it would be better if you had a ref who stood it up quickly. You know what I mean? Because he is doing a great job of keeping it close and not taking any damage. But you need a ref that will reward you for that, you know?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Another thing, too, with these amateur fights, I mean, it's all about getting some cage experience. And you know, 3-minute rounds are very short. So, unfortunately, you know, absolutely beautiful sweep by Jokondo.
Awesome. And I think he's got enough time to steal this round if he can do a little damage here.
Yeah,
because certainly the judges saw that on the ground, Breckling did nothing.
You know, what's good to see, that was a pressure sweep, you know, and that's something you can't really train somebody is to be able to feel that pressure and have that just natural ability. So something like that is very rewarding to see in somebody who's greener, like Dan said. So definitely has the tools, just needs to sharpen them.
I was going to say, I'm assuming a guy like that who doesn't have a wrestling background training at the academy, I'm sure he spends a lot of time on his back.
He gets a lot of time on his back, the protein practice in the morning. He's got a hip over here, very tight.
Wow, that's a really good job for him to keep a wrestler down there. We talk about the hips again, and for a non-wrestler to be able to keep him there. That's a tough round to score. I don't know if he did enough. I think he did.
I think with the takedown, they're gonna hand it over to Drew for the first round. You kind of almost have to give it to him. It's really the only effective thing in the fight.
I know that Kyle Sheely loves to go the other way, though, when it comes to stuff like that. When a guy doesn't do anything with that takedown.
You get punished for it?
You know, I have no issue with them scoring it the other way. You could say that sweep was just as good as a takedown.
Yep. Whoa, a little cheerleading action from the ring card girl. Haven't seen that before.
Mixing it up.
If I saw a cartwheel with the card, one-handed cartwheel with the card, I would be impressed.
I tell you what, watching Drew come out that first round, he had his hands pretty much at his waist ready to take a shot. So if I'm Michael Jokondo's corner right now, I'm telling him to come out firing, you know, stay on his haunches, keep a good center of gravity, know that the shot's coming, but try and fire off a left hook, try and fire off some sort of combination and keep him at bay.
Yeah,
and don't be throwing kicks at him. And I know that's going to be hard for him to not throw kicks.
He timed the 1-2 well, so he looked to throw maybe an uppercut here. Throw the jab and rear uppercut, knowing that he's going to try to time your punches and get underneath you and meet him with a hand right in his face as he tries to get in on the takedown.
Well, and the amateurs, too, it favors the wrestler because you can't throw a knee from there when that wrestler's coming in.
Well, not to mention the size of this cage here. 2 steps back.
Good
nice right hand and an uppercut on the way in.
Those weren't to the back of the head, sir.
He's in around the waist. You're kind of looking more to defend.
Sweep.
He's got his hands locked around him.
Good job getting back to his feet.
Got him pinned against the fence here, see if he can get the takedown.
You know, this is a spot where either guy would like to throw knees, but they can't. See what kind of gas tank Breckling has.
Drew looking for a trick.
Step right over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice job by Jokondo to step around and
Now when you telegraph it like that.
looking for Kimura here.
He's going to get his back out of this, isn't he? Or at least a triangle.
He's got the Kimura. He's got it behind his back. We'll see if he can use his hips to get it up.
It's going to be hard to finish him there, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, it's he's not in the perfect spot, but he's getting it up, and it's up over his head now. He's in a good spot. He's got his
now he can finish it.
Use it to sweep. He's on top. He should have kept a hold of it there because without his leg being trying to hold the head. Good transitioning.
Not good.
Punishing the body.
You know, Drew's taking quite a bit of damage in this second round here, so I'm curious to see what his gas tank looks like. Looks like he's fading quite a bit.
He's in on the takedown, really needs it. Now would be the time to explode and exert a little more energy. We'll see if he has it.
Well, that's the thing. He's had that leg locked up for 20 seconds now.
He has the opposite leg, too, with his. If he can suck Michael's left leg in and hip over, he can get a takedown, almost end up into a half guard or almost possibly side control.
Kind of just at a stalemate here. I just don't think he has the energy to finish that.
He actually put himself in worse position by wrapping that leg around. Jokondo's in a pretty good spot right now if he wanted to or knew how to utilize that. But
yeah,
again,
locked himself in there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Step over mount. He's gonna look for that Kimura again.
Would love to see Jokondo use that left foot instep.
Yeah, get a little elevator sweep here going.
For sure.
Move his hips, and he's got a good corner over there, Nat McIntyre and Carl Deaton.
And he is in his corner. I think that this is going to be a clear 10-9 round for Jokondo. And he just might have stole the first round. We don't know.
Could be close.
Could be 1-1.
5 minutes corner. I'm telling him it's even here, and you got to go and have to win this round for sure.
You know, I'm impressed. Drew came back, you know, the latter part of that second round too. I wasn't
Still
sure
hasn't landed a strike in this fight yet.
No.
All right, let's hear it right now for Andrea.
Sometimes though, you do see wrestlers tend to give up in that scenario when, you know, they're not able to get the takedown. Things aren't going their way. He took quite a bit of punishment in that second round. Still was able to come out on top with a sweep, and you know, didn't put any punishment on him, but is still looking at potentially stealing this third round and could potentially steal the fight. So good fight here for sure.
He's out of gas here. And they're talking to the doctor.
Keeps moving his jaw there, so I wonder if there's some questions with his jaw.
He took the good right hand early in the round, which forced him to shoot in, and then took some subsequent ground and pound shots while he was in on the single. They're going to let him continue here, third round. Third round action, 125-pound weight class.
Educated fan there. Spin back kick there.
Times the kick and gets a takedown. He's going to have to do some work here on top, though. He's going to need to win the round here. Didn't do a whole lot in the first round with the takedown.
But right now he's winning the round.
Yeah, a little confused why Jokondo didn't come out with those same strikes that he did in the second round. Tag Drew quite a bit coming in.
Yeah, and then there, if you're going to be throwing kicks, I'd either go low to the legs or try to set one up high, but not to the body against the wrestler. Even when he's hurt, you know, it's going to be tough to stop him with the body kick there, and you're setting yourself up to get takedown.
Framing up the triangle here.
Got his feet on the hips. He locks it up. Nice setup. Good execution there. Threw his hips up in the air to lock it in.
It's going to be quick. I think he's got that good.
Tap.
Yep.
There it is. Nice work by Michael Jokondo.
He stole one back.
Third round triangle submission victory.
Where are we at right now?
Twos.
You guys playing tic-tac-toe over there or what?
What?
Tic-tac-toe over there or what?
Yep. Something like that.
you know, for a young up-and-comer, Jokondo showing pretty well rounded all across the board, which doesn't surprise me coming from the academy and where he's training and who he's training with. But
I would just say light years improvement from his first fight to this one. I think he looked way better.
Very nice job. Our official after party after the fights is right here at the Muse. Going to be a great time, a rowdy crowd, and a packed house here tonight. And, quite a little venue, I must say. It's
really
good
cool
for fights.
kind of has that myth feel.
Yeah, it's a myth epic kind of a setup with the balconies over top.
But like high class.
But a little tighter, nicer in, yeah.
57 seconds in the third round.
Hopefully we're a little safer than down at Epic.
Just say I'm pretty sure I'm not getting stabbed here later.
Conceal and carry permit will come in handy down the road.